Hello everybody, Disciple here with Overwatch Curios. Now, we've shown you a ton of OP stuff on our top lists, like the best ultimates in the game, or the most OP heroes, and today we're going to take a step back and think of things on a smaller, more focused scale. Instead of looking at the big picture or major flashy abilities, today we're going to check out the top 5 most OP basic abilities in the game. Now, some heroes just have amazing abilities that are there and require no special build-up or wombo combo to use, and they can be game changers when in the right hands. Basic abilities are the building blocks of team compositions and are the hero's method of offense, defense, or their overall killing potential. These abilities are ranked based on their overall power, usefulness, and versatility, while disregarding their overall learning curve or ease of use. Now let's see who made the list. Now, someone who's pretty underrated and misused most of the time, Zarya has a projected barrier that's extremely useful for a myriad of situations, used both offensively and defensively. For 2 seconds, the ally you shield it to is immune to damage and most status effects, and they charge Zarya's shield at the very same time, granting her a damage boost on her own. You just gotta hit the button, and for 2 seconds or 200 health, you protect them from pretty much anything. Now, the concept sounds pretty simple, but it can be a little bit difficult to use and execute at the right time for the right hero. You need to be able to hit targets with the barrier mostly reactively instead of proactively, so you have to toss it on them as they're about to take damage, as opposed to just as they come around a corner, where the enemy might have time to react to the shield and not shoot at it at all. However, if you do throw it perfectly onto a Genji who just popped his Dragon Blade and dashed into the enemy team, or a Pharah or a Reaper who just unleashed their ultimates and need a little bit of survivability to stay alive and deal their damage, or they need to dodge out on a McCree flashbang or an Ana sleep dart, then you can make their ults effective just by yourself, whereas if they just used them on their own, they might have gotten shut down immediately. And of course, you become exponentially more powerful once you gain that percentage charge, since you can absolutely melt people after getting your full charge from the shield. Zarya is incredibly strong as an aggressive, close to medium range tank who can definitely take a lot of damage and deal it out as well as wiping a team with her ultimate. But being able to use that allied shield can completely turn a teamfight by itself if you're able to save that Reaper who's pretty exposed but also dealing a ton of damage, or a Mercy who's being dove on by the backline. Next up, we definitely can't overlook Reinhardt, who has been a part of pretty much every team comp in every meta since the game has been released, and the reason is because of his shield. His shield is just completely insane, you guys. It has 2,000 hit points, and it pops up almost instantly anytime it's needed, with a pretty quick recharge once you've put it down. And that's pretty cool, but look past the shield for a moment. Look at what's going on in the background. Every team member that takes advantage of his shield is given a few seconds to do pretty much whatever they want while even standing still, whereas normally they could have been killed in less than a second themselves. Your Mercy can fly in to heal someone else. You can have a Widowmaker or a Soldier 76 shooting at someone in the face, or reload their weapon, or just build their ult on a big tank that's on the other side of that shield. And those few seconds can mean everything in getting your coordinated attack together to get everyone's ult up, or to get the perfect position you need to launch your attack in. We focus a lot on the offensive or instant killing abilities a lot of the times, that sometimes we forget the power of the defensive abilities, since they can be just as, if not more important. There's really no stronger shield in the game, hit points or uptime wise, so if the next time you hop into battle with a competent Reinhardt who saves your life more than once with a flick of his right click, just thank him for the help in making you look awesome. Now, Roadhog is a super fun hero to play. He's high action, he has skill shots and abilities that keep him in the fight and that make him one of the most fast-paced and crazy to play tanks out there. His signature ability, the hook, is so OP that competitive teams often call out with excitement that a hook's been used from an enemy Roadhog, and actually wait for the ability to be down before making pushes with certain heroes, since he can so easily one-shot someone, and if he aims it right, it can be an absolute pain to dodge. The hook does exactly what you expect it to. It snags a target, pulls them up close, and it allows the Roadhog player to pretty much one-shot them as long as they're most of the characters on the roster. It's attached to a mile-long chain that can snag pretty much any hero from wherever to where they exactly don't want to be, which is within the range of ROADHOG'S scrap gun. Now, the real OP nature of the hook comes in two parts. First, it can be used to get really hard to reach heroes out of position, and Pharah is a great example. A lot of times if your team doesn't have a great Pharah counter, or if your Soldier 76 is having a hard time getting her down, you can just switch to ROADHOG, and if you can land your hooks, you can absolutely take her out of the sky as long as she flies anywhere near you at all. You can also take out the backline snipers and healers, and you can even grab that Lucio off of the wall when he's trying to desperately hold the point and no one on your team can shoot him. The second part is interruption. When the hook grabs you, you stop doing everything that you were currently doing, like ulting. You can just hook a Reaper right out of his Death Blossom or hook a Pharah out of her Missile Barrage, and since they really can't do much to move or dodge when they're in them, they're sitting ducks for you and it's incredibly easy to land. Nothing's more rage-inducing than hooking a McCree mid-Deadeye before he actually fires, and since you can get it really easily since they're standing still, you look pretty good for shutting it down while also being able to pull it off without a lot of trouble, and you can be a huge asset to your team by hooking those problematic targets and negating abilities and ultimates. Now, Overwatch's poster child is a handful, both in the lore and in playstyle, with a pretty high skill cap to be effective. And though Tracer at her core is made up of only a few similar abilities, they're all very powerful and can directly or indirectly cause massive damage, confusion, and annoyance in an enemy's back line. One particularly OP ability is Tracer's Recall. Now at face value, it just has two parts. It's a heal and it's a blink that takes you back to the health and the position you were at 3 seconds ago. However, it can be so much more than that. First thing, it can be used defensively, in which case you can blink into the enemy team, try and kill someone, and then use the recall to take you out of harm's way and get your health back, which is absolutely excellent. If you time it right and you learn the exact timing, you could effectively hop in, do damage, recall away with full health, and a few options at your disposal, like blinking right back in or blinking back to the safety of your team, which pretty much gives you an extra life as long as you can time it right. But to maximize how OP the recall ability is, you can also learn how to use it offensively. For example, you can blink past someone, chase them down right back into the path where you were coming from, and recall to cut them off as well. Or if you chase down one member of the team and recall back in to position yourself right next to the now exposed healer or support that you can take out with a quick burst of headshots. You can also use recall and timing to position yourself in beneficial places like onto health packs or next to turrets. And all in all, having that extra life ability that can fully self-heal and double as a flanking tool turns out to be really damn OP. Now, vision is paramount in any shooting game that requires even the slightest bit of tactical play or objective holding. In a game like Overwatch, having vision of an enemy player or team is crucial, as the opportunity to see what your opponents are doing are pretty few and far between. Since most players know that if you can see them, you can shoot them, they try to hide behind walls and other obstacles. So this makes Widowmaker's ultimate absolutely insane, but we're not talking about ultimates. So what if Widowmaker's ult was on a basic ability? Which is why we're focusing on HANZO'S Sonic Arrow. It's a very simple tool to use. You just switch over to it, aim in the general direction of the enemy team, and you let her rip. You can shoot into a floor, a wall, a ceiling, or directly onto an enemy hero, meaning that the Sonic Arrow will actually follow them around, revealing their team in their vicinity. Having real-time vision is amazing for planning attacks or counterattacks and knowing exactly when to pop ultimates. For example, if the team is running over the bridge on Lijiang Tower and Zarya wants to throw out an ultimate to pull them all to the wall, you can get the exact knowledge of when they're coming over with an easy ability from Hanzo. And you could even argue that HANZO'S Sonic Arrow is better than Widowmaker's entire ultimate because of how frequently he can use it compared to her ult. Of course, you don't get quite as much information about flankers, but you can just continuously use this to get information about the enemy team, and it's on such a short cooldown that as soon as you push the payload forward or the enemy team repositions, you can do it again. The only drawback is really the limited range, of course, but since the enemy team is usually going to be at least somewhat close together, since teams do like to group up somewhat so that healers can heal the intended targets and Reinhardt can shield them as much as possible, you can pretty much cover most of the team in a lot of situations. Now it syncs up with just about every ult, ability, wombo combo, offense, and defense in the game, and it shouldn't be underestimated or overlooked for how OP it is. Now quick shout out to a few that almost made the list. Reaper's Wraith form is extremely helpful to Reaper players for getaway situations since it does make him invulnerable, and that it will allow you to reload your weapons if the PTR patch goes through. Torbjorn also seemed a little unlikely for this list, but actually being able to build the turret as a basic ability is really close to making it, and of course it is what makes his character playable at all. And also, Mei's Wall definitely deserves to be here as an honorable mention since it can completely shut down so many ultimates in the game, as well as blocking off an enemy's area of retreat or the way that they're coming in, even splitting up a team so that you can take down a Reinhardt or a Zarya as soon as they come through the door and leave their team without a frontline tank, so they have to wait another 20 or 30 seconds to get their team ready and mobilized again. So, with so many OP basic abilities, it's no wonder Overwatch matches get absolutely crazy and intense. Now I'm curious what you guys think about the list, and if there are any other basic abilities you think that should have been on here instead of the list we made. I always love hearing from you guys, but as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.